And on this Friday, October 31st, 2025 edition of Newsmakers, a professor is suing the University of Tennessee over the suspension given to her because of her Charlie Kirk comments. Assistant Professor Tamar Sherinian filed the suit on Tuesday, naming the university, Chancellor Donde Plowman, and other university leaders. The complaint claims the school caved to political pressure and tried to protect the university against backlash from donors instead of supporting her First Amendment rights. She says in the suit that her comments were private political speech and is asking to be allowed back into her role as assistant professor. Sherinian became the center of controversy after posting that the, quote, world is better off without him in it in a private Facebook thread. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is condemning an anti-Semitic art exhibit that popped up on taxpayer-funded Governor's Island. Sarah Lee Kessler reports.
It appeared over the weekend and was the work of an independent artist given use of a studio.
It included paintings that praised the terrorist organization Hamas, equating Zionism with Nazism and fascism, and saying that Israel's very existence is beyond the pale.
It was removed hours after a Jewish visitor spotted it and complained.
Anti-Semitism has sadly become the in thing.
Mayor Eric Adams saying anyone with a conscience should find the incident disturbing. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
Vice President Vance says he hopes his wife converts to Christianity, but if not, Vance says, God says everyone has free will.
Do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
Speaking at a Turning Point USA event in Mississippi this week, Vance said Second Lady Usha Vance, who grew up in a Hindu family, accompanies him to church most Sundays.
Usha's closer to the priests who baptized me than maybe I am. They talk about this stuff. My attitude is you figure this stuff out as a family and you trust in God to have a plan and you try to follow it as best as you can.
The couple married in 2014 in an interfaith wedding with both Hindu and Christian officiants and are raising their children as Christian. Vance converted to Catholicism in 2019. He said he previously considered himself an agnostic or an atheist.
I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well.
Hundreds of victims of clergy sex abuse have signed on to a $230 million bankruptcy settlement with the Archdiocese of New Orleans. Attorneys for the Survivors Committee said in a statement that the plan also requires the church and its archbishop to implement new child protection protocols. That includes the creation of a public archive of documents related to abuse claims that, up until now, have been kept secret. And that's Newsmakers for this Friday, October 31st, 2025 edition. I'm Keith Black.